On a quiet autumn morning, a young man dressed in his best suit stood outside the tallest office building in the city. Today was the most important day of his life. He had dreamed about this moment for years. His heart was racing as he looked up at the shining glass windows. Inside that building was the opportunity that could change his future forever. He took a deep breath, adjusted his tie, and walked through the front doors. The receptionist smiled politely before guiding him toward the executive office. Every step felt heavier than the last. He knew hundreds of applicants wanted the same position, but only one person would be chosen. When the large wooden door slowly opened, he saw the company's president sitting behind an elegant desk. The man looked calm, confident, and experienced. He welcomed the young applicant with a warm smile. "Please, have a seat." The interview began with simple questions. The president carefully reviewed the young man's resume. His eyebrows slowly lifted in surprise. "Your academic record is remarkable," he said. "Excellent grades from elementary school all the way through university. You've never failed a class. You've never taken a gap year. You graduated at the top of your class." The young man smiled modestly. "Thank you, sir." The president continued reading. "I also noticed something interesting. You never received a scholarship? Is that correct?" "Yes, sir." "Never." The president looked up. "So, who paid for all your education?" The young man's smile faded slightly. "My father passed away when I was just a year old. My mother raised me alone. She worked every single day so I could stay in school." The room became quiet. The president gently asked another question. "What does your mother do?" The young man lowered his eyes for a moment. "She washes other people's clothes. That has been her job for as long as I can remember." The president slowly nodded. Then he leaned back in his chair. "May I see your hands?" The young man looked confused but obeyed. He placed both hands on the desk. They were smooth, clean, soft, without a single scar. The president examined them for a few seconds. Then he asked quietly, "Have you ever helped your mother wash those clothes?" The young man immediately shook his head. "No, sir. My mother always wanted me to focus on studying. She believed education was my only chance for a better future. She never allowed me to help. Besides," he hesitated, "she could always finish the work much faster than I could." The president remained silent for a long moment. Then a gentle smile appeared on his face. "I have a small request." The young man leaned forward. "Go home today. Wash your mother's hands, not the clothes, her hands. Look at them carefully. After that, finish washing every piece of clothing that is left. Then come back tomorrow morning." The young man blinked in surprise. He had expected another interview question, perhaps a difficult business problem or a leadership challenge. Instead, he was being asked to wash his mother's hands. He couldn't understand why, but he respectfully nodded. "I'll do exactly as you ask." He stood, thanked the president, and quietly left the office. The journey home felt different. The city looked exactly the same. The traffic, the people, the busy streets. Yet somehow, everything felt quieter. The president's words echoed over and over in his mind. "Wash your mother's hands." Why? What could such a simple task possibly have to do with becoming a manager? No matter how hard he thought, he couldn't find the answer. As the sun began to set, he reached the small house where he had grown up. It was old. The paint on the walls had faded years ago. The furniture was simple. Nothing inside spoke of wealth, but every corner carried memories. His mother was still working. She was standing beside a large bucket filled with water and soap. Several piles of dirty clothes surrounded her. She looked exhausted. Drops of sweat rolled down her forehead, yet she continued working without complaint. When she noticed her son, her tired face immediately brightened. "You're home. How did the interview go?" The young man forced a smile. "It went well, Mom." She sighed with relief. "I knew you could do it. I've been praying for you all day." She quickly returned to washing another shirt. There were still many clothes left. The young man quietly walked toward her. "Mum," she looked up. "Yes?" I'd like to wash your hands." She laughed softly, thinking he was joking. "My hands? Why?" He hesitated. "It's something I promised someone." She looked puzzled, then smiled. "If that's what you want." She slowly placed her hands into his. For the first time in his life, he truly looked at them. His heart stopped. The hands he remembered from childhood were gone. The skin was rough, wrinkled, dry from years of soap and cold water. Tiny cuts covered her fingers. Several old scars crossed her palms. Some wounds had healed. Others looked painfully fresh. His fingertips gently touched a deep crack in her skin. His mother flinched. "It stings a little," she whispered with a smile. "It's nothing." He couldn't believe what he was seeing. These hands, these were the hands that had carried him, fed him, protected him, worked every single day, so he could sit in classrooms, so he could buy books, so he could chase dreams she never had the chance to chase herself. Without realizing it, tears began falling from his eyes, one after another. They landed silently in the warm water below. His mother noticed. She reached over and gently wiped away his tears with those same worn hands. "Why are you crying?" He couldn't answer. His throat was too tight. He carefully washed every finger, every scar, every wrinkle, as if he were holding the most precious treasure in the world. Only then did he finally understand. Success always has a price. Sometimes someone else pays it for you. After gently drying his mother's hands with a clean towel, the young man looked at the large pile of clothes waiting beside the bucket. Normally, he would have walked past them without thinking. Tonight, he quietly rolled up his sleeves. "I'll finish the rest." His mother smiled. "You don't have to. I want to." She sat down to rest for the first time that day. The young man picked up the first shirt. Within minutes, his back began to ache. The fabric felt much heavier once it was soaked with water. His hands quickly became tired. The soap burned the tiny cuts that had already formed on his fingers. He scrubbed each piece carefully, then rinsed it, then squeezed out the water, then hung it to dry. Again and again and again. Hours passed. The pile seemed endless. For the first time in his life, he understood why his mother returned home exhausted every evening. This wasn't just washing clothes. It was endless physical labor. Every shirt represented a few more coins. Every blanket meant another meal. Every pair of trousers brought him one step closer to graduation. By the time he finished, it was late at night. His arms were shaking, his fingers were sore, his clothes were completely wet. He sat quietly beside his mother. Neither of them spoke for several minutes. The silence felt warmer than any conversation. Finally, he turned toward her. "Mum," she looked at him. "I'm sorry." She seemed surprised. "For what?" "For never noticing, for never asking, for thinking everything was easy." His mother's eyes filled with tears. She gently smiled. "You never needed to apologize. My dream was always simple. I wanted you to have the life I never could. I wanted your hands to hold books, not heavy buckets." The young man lowered his head. "No, you gave up your dream so I could chase mine. I'll never forget that." That evening became one of the longest conversations they had ever shared. They laughed. They remembered old memories. They spoke about his father, about difficult years, about hope, and about the future. When the young man finally went to bed, he couldn't fall asleep. He kept looking at his own hands. Just one evening of washing clothes had left them sore. His mother had lived that life every single day for years. The next morning, he woke before sunrise. He carefully got dressed. Before leaving the house, he hugged his mother tightly. She smiled, still wondering why her son had changed so much overnight. He walked toward the company once again. But this time, he wasn't carrying only a resume. He was carrying something far more valuable, a new understanding of gratitude. The young man arrived at the company a few minutes before his appointment. This time, he wasn't nervous. Yesterday, he had entered the building hoping to impress the president. Today, he simply wanted to tell the truth. When the office door opened, the president welcomed him with the same calm smile. "Good morning. Please, sit down." The young man thanked him and took his seat. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then the president asked quietly, "So, did you do what I asked?" "Yes, sir, I did." "And what did you discover?" The young man took a deep breath. His voice was steady, but filled with emotion. "Yesterday I thought success came from hard work and good grades. I believed my achievements belonged only to me, but I was wrong." He paused. "I washed my mother's hands. They were covered with scars. Each scar told the story of a sacrifice she never talked about. I realized those hands had built my future." The president listened without interrupting. The young man continued, "After that, I washed the rest of the clothes. It took me hours. My hands became sore after just one evening. My mother has done that work for years without complaining." He looked down at his hands. "For the first time in my life, I understood the true cost of my education." The president nodded gently. "And how do you feel now?" The young man answered without hesitation. "First, I finally understand what gratitude really means. No success belongs to one person alone. Someone always sacrifices so another can move forward." He took another breath. "Second, I've learned to respect every kind of honest work. No job is small when it's done to support a family. And third, I realized that leading people isn't just about giving orders. It's about understanding their struggles, respecting their efforts, and never forgetting the people behind every success." The president smiled. For the first time during the interview, he stood up. He walked around the desk and faced the young man. Then he held out his hand. "Congratulations. You got the job." The young man looked surprised. "Really?" "Yes." The president smiled warmly. "I wasn't looking for the smartest applicant. I wasn't looking for the person with the highest grades. I was looking for someone who could understand people. A manager who only knows numbers can build a business, but a manager who understands sacrifice can build a family." The young man's eyes filled with tears once again. He shook the president's hand. As he left the office, he knew something had changed forever. Not because he had found a job, but because he had finally learned the value of the hands that made his dreams possible. Never forget the people whose sacrifices built your success. Gratitude is the foundation of true greatness. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you appreciate. See you in the next video.